Hey, it's Jodie Osofsky. I'm back to chat with Laura. We're going to talk today just a little bit about home remodels. That's the number one phone call I get is what people, they have questions. They want to remodel their home. And there's usually two motivating factors to do that. One is personal enjoyment, and the other one is resale. And oftentimes those intertwine. So, I'm happy to help. I'm always here to help. But Laura, tell me what questions you have.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jody. I'm so excited to talk about this because I find it so interesting. Um, so just like in general, what are some of like the most over the top improvements or fix ups or anything that people have done to their homes that you've seen and you just don't recommend people to do it in the future?
Okay. So over personalizing, and that's so general, right? So over personalizing to the degree of not just hanging pictures of your family on the walls. That's pretty normal. I would say most people assume that someone living in a home is going to do that kind of stuff. That's not a permanent fixture to the property, and I don't think it really affects a buyer as they walk through the home, unless you have grandma's wall of grandchildren from the last 30 years, like in the hallway. That's the only one that really throws people off. But what I mean by over personalize is, let's say your favorite color is yellow, and you decide that every hard surface in your home besides flooring needs to be yellow, meaning countertops or cabinets, sometimes tile. Um, don't go crazy with your personal taste unless you don't care that it affects you in resale. Um, I've seen some pretty over the top kids' bedrooms with, um, you know, lofts and pirate ship stairs and things like that. And, if the new buyer happens to have a boy that is that age, then great. It could be a selling point. But for the general public, it probably is something they'll need to tear out. So that will affect you on price. That answer your question?
Yeah, that makes sense. On the topic of bedrooms, though, so I see on TV a lot, like on HGTV and everything like that, people will make bedrooms into like a music studio or a playroom or an office or anything like that. What's your opinion on, in terms of resale value, on turning a bedroom into a different type of room?
Okay, so the first thing I think of immediately, and I know most of my realtor friends do as well, when we hear the HGTV words, we think we're not just going to show you three homes and make you pick one. That's not realistic. Um, so as far as taking out walls, taking away bedrooms, that typically, especially in Utah, is a bad idea unless you have 7 bedrooms in a 3,000 square foot home. Then it may be a good idea. So I would say on a case by case basis, probably consult me just to be safe. But as a general rule, I wouldn't take away bedrooms, especially if you have, let's say, a rambler with 3 bedrooms on the main floor. You don't want to take a wall out and just have 2 bedrooms. That will definitely negatively affect your resale value. Um, Quick story, I had a client years ago who had a rambler with 3 bedrooms on the main floor, an unfinished basement. And during the time we were listed, he had a couple days off work and called me and let me know he had great news that he had taken the wall out between the family room and his smaller bedroom to make the family room bigger. So in Utah, lots of children selling a rambler with 2 finished bedrooms and no finished basement actually ended up really hurting him a lot. Doesn't matter how big the family room is.
And you probably had to change all your marketing.
A little bit. Yeah, empty nester house all of a sudden. Yeah.
That's funny. Um, So, on another end, since we all know that kitchens and bathrooms sell homes, are there finishes that you would recommend over others or wouldn't recommend over others?
Yeah. So I would say a couple mistakes that I see, and they're on both ends of the spectrum again. And that is if someone is remodeling and updating the home for their own personal enjoyment and they don't plan to sell and they don't care if they get their money back, then I would say go crazy with the budget and do what's going to make you happy in your home. If you're cognizant and aware of what could affect resale and you don't want to overdo for the neighborhood, that is another place I can help, and always happy to help my clients and advise them in that direction. It's sad when you walk into a home that's so overdone and the seller's expecting to get every penny back and nobody told them otherwise during the process. And on the flip side, on the other end of it, you will find people just doing bare minimum to sell. And let's say they're remodeling the kitchen and they're in a, let's say, $400,000 to $450,000 price range, average in the neighborhood, and they put Formica countertops in that kitchen. They are going to hurt themselves badly. At a minimum, I would say, as a general rule, pretty much anything over $300,000 in our market, if you're not putting in at least granite to quartz, then you're going to hurt yourself for sure.
Interesting. So you really have to know like where you're at and what finishes to
That's
use.
where I'm coming. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Any final thoughts as we talk about, fixing up? I know you could probably go on forever about this, but if you're just looking to fix up your house, even if they're not actively selling or anything like that, they can always reach out to you and just ask your advice. So any final tips that you can think of?
I would say don't go too crazy with the DIY Pinterest ideas in every single room. I would avoid vinyl letters on the walls in every single room. I would avoid really bright, vivid colors in every room and contrasting in every room. I would try and stick with a general theme throughout of decor, be it rustic, farmhouse, modern. I wouldn't try and make every single room its own experience, make the whole house make sense, and really be aware of what is new and trendy and what buyers are liking when you're redoing things like baseboards and more permanent updates that are a pain to go back and redo. But don't go over the top trendy. Like right now in the Parade of Homes this year, I've seen an insane amount of patterned tile. And I started to see it last year. It's back again with a vengeance. And we just got people to tear that out from the 70s. The smoked glass in the cabinet doors, like, just don't. Please don't go too trendy. You'll hate it in 5 minutes.
That's a good tip, definitely. So thanks for joining us today. If people do want any advice, either on real estate or just as they're fixing up their home, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, as my website says, always call Jodie. So please reach out to me at my email, which is Jodie, Jodie, at alwayscalljodie.com. Visit my website, alwayscalljodie.com. See a theme there. And you can always call or text me at 801-598-7091.
Thanks so much, Jodie.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.